Happy Monday, y'all. You guys that's down there in the path of Beryl, however we're pronouncing the hurricane, the first hurricane to hit landfall in 2024, my prayers are with y'all. I noticed it could have been worse than what it was. Don't worry about me. I'm making sure I'm not burning my... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unplug my electric skillet just in case, I get to... Yeah. But it could have been worse, but it's still very dangerous. And I was looking at the clock. It's 11:30 a.m. And I was like, oh, I think we'll be fine till late tonight. But about 30 minutes ago, we went ahead and got our tornado watches issued, our flooding issued, damaging wind alerts issued. So I was like, okay, change of plans, Lippy. Because this is not what I was going to do today with you guys. But, you got to work within what's happening at the moment. And what's happening at the moment is this hurricane is headed our way. Now, not the true impact, but we're going to be on the dirty side, as they call it. We're going to be on the west side. So it's going to spin tornadoes, damaging winds, storms, flooding, and all that junk. So I said, okay, instead of waiting till tonight to cook our supper, I'm just going to cook it now at 11:30 a.m. with you guys. I may have done this quite a few times. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of a creature of habit, and I'm constantly repeating some of the same dishes that we love, only I change it up here and there. Y'all been with me long enough. I'm a creature of habit. But we needed to get this cooked now. So if we lose power, and it's a high probability that we will lose power because we do in a light little rain, this is something that I can heat up off the generator. So I'm not going to be using the stove just in case we lose power while we're making this video. I can go out and turn the generator on. But I can use my stove with the generator, but it brings a lot of surging. So I thought, okay, pull the electric skillet out this way. If we need to reheat, we can reheat an electric skillet, or I can put the amount we want to eat into a pot and use our little propane camping stove. So this is what we were actually having tonight for supper, only we're going to make it today. And it will sit and be just fine till Mr. Buddy gets in to be able to eat. And let's hope that we don't lose power and I can reheat in the electric skillet. But if not, I'm prepared. So without further ado, let's get this recipe going. Because guys, it's dark and I hope that this video is going to be clear enough. I did enhance the lighting on the camera. So hopefully you can get a clear shot of this. I'm going to put you down in the pot because right now it's very dark and very gloomy and very still. You don't want still. You want wind blowing. But yeah, that's not what's happening. So let's get down to the recipe. All it is a one-pot Cajun cabbage casserole. It's in a skillet. Now, the ingredients I'm using, I will tell you what you can use in exchange. So just because I'm using a certain ingredient, I'm going to help y'all out and tell you what you can exchange with. Now using my own bell peppers and hot peppers, these are called big gems. They're supposed to turn red, but I pulled mine green and my bell peppers. So what you're seeing actually came from the garden. I've got a heaping tablespoon of butter. I'm going to go in with a little bit of olive oil. That's to keep the butter from burning. And I did plug in my electric skillet because you want it on a higher side of medium. In this bowl, I have diced a large green bell pepper. If I would have had a red, an orange, I would have actually preferred that. But I'm using a green bell pepper that I did de-seed and I took the white membranes out. I've got a medium diced sweet onion and I did dice one of those big gem peppers. In exchange, You could omit the big gem pepper completely or use another milder pepper of your choice. Banana peppers work well with this recipe. Now, you're going to see I do not have any celery because I'm going to use some of my dried celery leaves that I harvested from the garden last year to give me that celery flavor. But you can definitely add 1 rib of diced celery to this recipe. So I'm gonna get these softened a good 5 to 7 minutes, guys, and I'm sitting on the higher side of medium. Now, while these are cooking, this is the sausage that I'm using. I saved the package. You get 4 sausage links. I did dice 3 of them, and I reserved 1 for Mr. Buddy to eat. But I want you to take a screenshot. Guys, this is some healthy sausage. This is chicken, of course. But I thought that apple would lend not a sweetness, but it'll take away from such heavy ingredients. Have you screenshot it yet? This is my new favorite sausage for Mr. Buddy. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt. This is Redmond's real salt, I mean a light pinch, just to bring the moisture out of these vegetables. I won't be salting again because the ingredients we are using does have salt in it. And we're having to watch the salt intake for Mr. Buddy. But just that little amount will go ahead and bring out the moisture in these vegetables. They've been going about 5 minutes, and that's when I'm gonna add 3 links of that sausage. Can y'all see? It is beautiful sausage. Now you can exchange this for an andouille. You can exchange it for a smoked sausage, a Polish sausage. But I'm telling you, that chicken sausage, and they've got quite a few, I say quite a few, they've got like 4 different flavor profiles, and it is now becoming my favorite because it's all natural, lower in sodium. It doesn't have all the bad junk in it. Okay, we're gonna let this go another 5 minutes. I wanna render the natural fat out of the sausage and let them start getting a little brown. It's been going about 5 minutes, and now we got to start layering the flavor. This is when you want to start putting the flavor into this dish. I'm going to start off with just plain black pepper. I've pulled out a teaspoon. I may not use all of it, and I didn't. So let's say a half a teaspoon. I'm trying to measure for you guys. Using my Cajun seasoning, the swamp mix. This is going to be strictly to your taste. And if I had to guess, not quite a teaspoon, guys. I'm adding a heaping teaspoon, so let's call that a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now this is where we want to work fast because we don't want that garlic burning. Now, using my favorite tomato paste, we're going to add about a tablespoon. And remember the well, you want to get that rawness of that tomato out of it and bring in the natural sweetness. Leaving that there. Now, this is optional. I'm using 1 can of Rotel tomatoes. In exchange for the Rotel tomatoes, you could do a standard can of crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, roasted tomatoes, but I'm choosing the Rotel. And we want this to cook a couple of minutes, guys, to really set those flavors. I'm going in with a tablespoon of dried celery leaves. But like I said, you could have chopped up a stalk of celery and sauteed that in with your bell pepper, onions, and pepper. Oh yeah, I get that celery smell. You're going to have the flavor, but you're not going to have the crunch of the celery. I am going to actually turn this down to a low medium. And I want these flavors to simmer with the lid on for about 5 minutes. And I'm just going to take my lid off and stir, because this is where the flavor of this dish is going to come from. Okay, but we're not done yet. We have 3 more ingredients. We still have cabbage to add, a pound of shrimp peeled and deveined to add. If you didn't want to add the shrimp, don't add it. It would be delicious with just the sausage, guys. But we do have a medium-sized cabbage that I did chop up this morning. And to get our gravy, our juice, I am actually using 2.5 cups of Better Than Bouillon chicken base. It's got salt in it, so that's why I didn't use any salt other than just that little sprinkle to release the moisture from those vegetables. But that's what I'm going to be using. You can actually use a vegetable stock, homemade chicken stock, a seafood stock, staying with a clear stock, and you'll be fine. But this is 2.5 cups. I'm probably going to go ahead and add more water. I think I will, and bring it up to about 3 cups, because I may not use it all. But you'll see why, because what I'm trying to do is keep a gravy, because we're going to actually serve this over rice. But when we get to that point, I can show you, if you wanted to do like a deconstructive cabbage roll, you could actually put your cooked rice in here. We don't like it like that. We like to put it over our rice, kind of like a gravy, if you will. It's one of Mr. Buddy's favorites. And hopefully I have time to get some cornbread going. Y'all, I'm being gutsy right now, because I'm telling you, in our area, yeah, we lose power like that. So I just don't know how gutsy, but I'm starting to get real gutsy. I think I want some cornbread. What can I say? But if the power goes out, I'll just fry me some cornbread. But right now I'm enjoying my coffee while I can. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. And now I'm going in with the cabbage. And I just standard diced. You don't have to have it too small, but definitely not large. Just a good bite size. And I'm going to fold the goodness from the bottom up around this cabbage. You know, cabbage has natural water in it. So I wanted to get some heat on it and start breaking down before we add the chicken stock. Now, the shrimp will not be added for quite a while, because this is going to actually cook about 30 minutes, guys. Because shrimp takes about 3 minutes. Oh, look what I just found. That's the core of the cabbage. I do not want that. And here's the other one. I thought I had pulled them out, but I didn't. Okay, we're good. You don't want that core. It's pas bon. That means in French it's no good. Okay, let's get this all, and I'm not cutting the camera off because I want to let y'all see, as I'm folding this goodness in and pulling up from the bottom, that cabbage will start wilting. And that is flavor. Now at this point, you could season some more if you want a little more Cajun seasoning, a little bit more black pepper or salt. I think the flavors that I have in here is plenty. Oh, and that pepper I used, I did de-seed it and take the membranes out. So it's not going to be hot. But if Rotel's too hot, like I said, use you a standard can of crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, roasted. It's whatever you really have in your house you can use. Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to turn it down to a medium low. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the sausage. I'm going to give it a good 5 minutes to really start tenderizing. I'll stir it every so often before we add our broth. That's what's going to create our gravy. So let it go about 5 minutes. These flavors, y'all, if y'all could smell what's going on up in this kitchen. Mr. Buddy's going to be happy. Lippy's going to be happy. And we won't go hungry. This is that stick to your ribs kind of plate. It's one of his favorites. So why not enjoy it while we watch Beryl come on through and say hello. But no, seriously, we all need to pray for everyone in the path. And as long as you're prepared to the best of your ability, that's all you can ask of yourself. That's all we can ask of ourselves. All right. See you back in about 5 minutes. Y'all about to get a facial. Ooh, what'd I tell you? Now you see how it has rendered a lot of juice. But I'm checking my cabbage, and it's not quite where I want it. It needs another 2 minutes. It's almost soft, but I don't want it mushy now, guys. We still like a little bite. So I'm going to give it another 2 minutes, and then we're going to add our chicken stock. I'll let it go about 2 more minutes. And like I said, I've got 3 cups here. I may not use it all. Because as this simmers, it is going to cook out. But we like ours like with a little gravy. Oh yeah, how much have I used? Let me get my glasses on. I've used exactly 2 cups. Tell you what I'm gonna do. 2.5 cups. That puts me about where I wanna be. Perfect. Now I am gonna turn it down to a medium low, put the lid on, and I'm gonna let it simmer. Now with that juice, I still have a 1/2 cup in case some of it evaporates. But I want this to cook low and slow, 20 minutes minimum. The cabbage is not going to get soggy, but by adding that liquid, it does stop that initial cooking, and it will maintain a texture. Not crunchy, but it'll maintain a texture because we allowed its natural water that's in cabbage to cook out, to render. And there's my stove for my cornbread. And by doing that, it's not like boiled cabbage. We don't like boiled cabbage where you boil it in water. I want the natural liquid from the cabbage to render out and cook itself out. It will steam itself out. And that's what keeps your cabbage with that good texture. So I'm going to let this go. I'm going to whip up me a little listen to me. Well, I'm not sure Mr. Buddy's going to eat cornbread because he's choosing rice. Now, he may choose not to eat rice and just have a bowl of this cabbage goodness and a piece of cornbread on the side. But I did use almond flour in my cornbread, so I made it a little bit more healthy. So it's going to be his option. I'm personally going to have some rice and some cornbread. I'm cheating today. I'm the one holding the fork down, right? Might have to go out in the rain and crank that generator. I've only cranked it twice in my life with someone standing there with me, but I'm on my own today, people. Yeah. Let me get another cup of coffee started because it's looking gloomy here. But I'll be back in 20 minutes. And if I have to add the other 1/2 cup, I will tell you. I don't think I will, but you never know. It's been about 17 minutes, y'all. And you see, I still have plenty of gravy, juice. And I've turned the heat up on the higher side of medium. I'm adding in a pound of shrimp. You can omit the shrimp and just use the sausage. but we love that seafood flavor. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more of my swamp mix. You can use a house seasoning. You don't have to use a Cajun seasoning, but I added just a little bit. And I'm gonna leave it on the higher side of medium, about 1.5 minutes, just to get some good heat in here to cook the shrimp. And then I'm gonna turn the heat off of this. You see how them cold shrimp dial the temperature down? But it'll come back up. See, it's coming back up. I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm turning it off. I'm not gonna lift this lid. The residual heat, so I let it go about 1 minute on that little boil. From the residual heat, the shrimp will finish cooking. Remember, shrimp is about 3 minutes. Gives me time to get the cornbread out of the oven. And my rice is cooked. We're gonna do a quality control taste test here in a minute, couple of minutes. And I gotta get this video uploaded because I need Wi-Fi. And it's looking even more nasty. So I don't have long to pop my gums. But we'll do a taste test in the video. Let me get this uploaded. And guys, if you're in the path of this hurricane, our prayers are with you, and we ask for a little prayer spoken our way. It's an ugly looking storm, and it's mighty early in the season for hurricanes. So we'll be back in a few minutes. I got to get everything together. But our supper is done, and that's what I set out to do. It's time to plate up, guys. Oh, yeah. Get a couple of those shrimp. And this is what I mean by gravy juice. It's one of our favorites. Perfect. A piece of cornbread on the side. Okay, we've got a taste test. I got to get this video uploaded. The alarms are going off. I believe it said there were 7 tornadoes on the ground. There's actually 2 extremely close from me, south of me. Maybe 12 to 15 miles south of me. I hope they lift up. But I ran outside, made sure the chickens could only, stay in the little run. I got my feet wet, but I did have an umbrella. So yeah, things are starting to crank up sooner than what they thought. But we're gonna go ahead and give this a little taste test. I know it's gonna be hot, but here we go. Oh, that's gonna be real hot. Guys, this is decadent. This is simple comfort food. I'm getting a little bite. That's why I said, you could use a banana pepper. You don't even have to use a pepper, guys. You could use the bell pepper, onions, and some celery. But, oh, it's got the right bite for Buddy and I. What I'm trying to do is get this shrimp. Look at that. You got to try it. You've absolutely got to try this. Now, what I like to do is take a little bite of that cornbread, get it down in that juice, a little bit of the rice and cabbage. Mr. Buddy's probably going to take his cornbread, crumble it up, and scoop this goodness over the top. But right here, it's going to take care of us today and tomorrow. I had to make sure. But I'm going to get my bowl ate because things are getting nasty. So like I said, if y'all are in the path, Buddy and I are praying for you. And let's pray that this thing moves on out without any lives taken or injured. Things can be replaced, people cannot. So let's remember that. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. Keep your hat tight to your head. Things do fly. Love y'all.